In a stunning revolution, thank you for joining me on U24 News Flash Hour. I'm Shamim Kiza. Thousands of Ugandans defied heavy morning rain to take part in this year's Kabaka's birthday run. Considered one of the country's largest annual health-focused events, the run was held in celebration of the 70th birthday of Kabaka Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II. Though the rain-soaked streets of Kampala were filled with spirited runners clad in the signature Airtel red t-shirts, underrated by weather as they gathered in solidarity to raise awareness in the ongoing fight against HIV/AIDS.
The Kabaka Birthday Run 12th edition with 120,000 runners here.
U.S. government on Saturday revoked all visas held by South Sudanese passport holders over the accusation of failure to accept deported citizens. Marco Rubio, the U.S. Secretary of State, said in a statement on Saturday that the fierce diplomatic measure will also stop issuance of new visas to South Sudanese takes effect immediately. As South Sudanese transitional government has failed to fully respect the principle, effective immediately, the U.S. deported and Department of State is taking actions to revoke all visas as stakeholders may assault.
The United States has revoked visas of South Sudanese passport holders and put a hold on issuing future ones. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the transitional government's failure to accept deported citizens timely triggered the move. The U.S. Department of State said it is time for South Sudan's transitional government to stop taking advantage of the U.S. Enforcing our nation's immigration laws is critically important to the national security and public safety of the United States, according to the statement. Every country must accept the return of its citizens in a timely manner when another country, including the United States, seeks to remove them, the State Department said. The department will be prepared to review these actions when South Sudan is in full cooperation, it added. South Sudan has not commented on U.S. actions. The move comes after the Trump administration ended a deportation shield for hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans in the U.S. in February. South Sudan, located towards the east of Africa, is on the verge of a civil war with rising armed conflict, mass displacement, and severe food insecurity. On April 22, 2023, the U.S. Embassy in Khartoum, Sudan, suspended its operations, including visa, passport, and other routine consular services. The Department of Homeland Security said it would revoke the status of over 300,000 nationals protected by temporary protected status. The Trump administration has deported more than 100,000 illegal migrants since taking office, as per a New York Post report citing a DHS official.
The African Union's panel of the WISE delegation in South Sudan capital Juba was on Friday morning denied access to the first Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar, who leads the armed opposition groups SPLAIO and a key signatory to the 2018 Fragile peace agreement. The panel, under the leadership of the former Burundian President Domitien Ndayizeye, was scheduled to meet Machar yesterday morning, but it did not happen. However, in its letter to the United Nations mission in South Sudan prior to the visit, the panel appointed by the African Union Commissioner Chairperson Mahmoud Ali Yusuf is to address the deteriorating security situation in the country.
The African Union or AU team met with President Salva Kiir. The team says it plans to engage Vice President Riek Machar, but that meeting is yet to happen. The AU is urging South Sudanese political leaders to resolve the current disagreement through dialogue.
They have assured us that they are going on implementing the revitalized agreement. They have confirmed that they are in the process to resolve the question of SPLO in the personality of the Vice President Riek Machar according to the law.
Mr. Machar heads the largest opposition group that has an armed wing in the country known as SPLM-AIO. South Sudan's government says it is still investigating Mr. Machar for being involved in clashes between government troops and armed civilians affiliated to SPLM-AIO in Nasir.
The mandate of the Artigonu is simple, that we stop war, we form a government, a vital government of national unity, so that we return security, sustainable peace to the country.
Riek Machar's party members are calling on President Kiir to order for the release of their leader. The group says the arrest of Mr. Machar means the 2018 peace deal, which ended 5 years of violence in the country, has partially collapsed.
Thousands gathered near the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. on Saturday to protest against President Donald Trump and presidential advisor, tech billionaire Elon Musk, where a rally was held under the motto "Hands Off." Protesters condemned that the U.S. administrator's policies on immigration, the economy, and mass layoffs of government workers, among others, similar took place across the U.S. states as protesters and other cities around the world, including Frankfurt, Berlin, Paris, and London. After the U.S. President Donald Trump came to power, Elon Musk handed up the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, which is tasked with cutting federal spendings in the U.S., including massive layoffs of government employees.
I mean, the things that he's doing is not trying to make America better. He's ruining our infrastructure, every department in our government he's ruining, and he's right now destroying our economy. He's taken away all of our allies. We're a pariah in the world.
This is what community looks like! This is what community looks like!
Demonstrated that for hands off, our research, hands off, our science.
Israel's army has admitted its soldiers made mistakes over the killing of 15 emergency workers in southern Gaza on 23rd March. Israel originally claimed troops opened fire because the convoy approached suspiciously in darkness without headlights or flashing lights. But the mobile phone footage released on Saturday, filmed by one of the paramedics who were killed, showed that the vehicle did have lights on as they were answered on a call helped for wounded people. Meanwhile, the UK's prime ministers have been detained in Israel as they attempted to enter the country, and the Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who will visit Washington, D.C. on Monday to sit down with the U.S. President Donald Trump to talk about this case.
This is a video recovered from a Palestinian paramedic whose body was discovered in a shallow grave in Rafah, southern Gaza. He's one of 15 bodies found. It's March the 23rd, and a convoy of paramedics from the Palestinian Red Crescent Society, civil defense teams, and a UN employee are responding to a plea for help. Their vehicles are marked. Their emergency lights are clearly visible. For a week, no one knew what had happened to these medical workers.
Just going to check to see if there's any human remains in here.
After eventually getting Israeli approval, the UN moved into the area and made this discovery.
One of the victims' bodies received more than 20 bullets. Others were handcuffed and buried. Others were killed inside their ambulance but later found in a mass grave. This proves that the Israeli soldiers deliberately assassinated the relief and medical staff, then intentionally pulled their bodies from inside the ambulance vehicles and buried them all in a mass grave.
Of 15 medical personnel and humanitarian aid workers, which raise further concerns over the commission of war crimes by the Israeli military.
Thank you for watching U24 News Flash Hour. I'm Shamim Kiza.